YouTube, what's going on? We are here once again to talk about the greatest league ever.
Yes.
We are here to talk Pistons. We're here to talk two topics that's been setting the internet on fire. I think it'll be a fun one, Deuce.
No, this is going to be a lot of fun, bro. I'm not sure how long we're going to run tonight. I get the feeling we're going to run kind of long because I feel like the engagement and everybody that's going to have a lot to say about these two topics. So I kind of got this time blocked off. So I'm kind of just letting it ride right now. What about you?
Yeah, man, I literally can't even scroll the timelines on Twitter and Instagram without seeing these two topics pop up, man. Really hot topics.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to talk about them because I got a lot to say about both.
Right. You and me both, bro. And I'm sure everybody else does too. Okay, so let's just get into it, bro. Let's get into it. Everybody's heard all the buzz, right? About these two particular teams. We've been hearing it. Everybody going back and forth about it, back and forth on Twitter, Instagram, all that. 2004 Pistons versus the 2017 Warriors, right? That's been a hot topic. Who will win in a 7-game series? So by now, we've all talked about it. We've all had our opinions, formed our opinions. If you guys remember, though, this actually started back in 2016 with Rachel Nichols on The Jump. It was a hot topic back then. As soon as Kevin Durant went to Golden State, it was a topic. And that was what everybody was talking about. Who would win, right? Who would win? So it was interesting what they had to say about that, what Rip and Chauncey actually had to say about that. And it's funny because they were politically correct back then, right? They were saying all the right things when it came to the team. But when it came to Draymond versus Rasheed, they didn't pull any punches. They said that Draymond and Rasheed are not in the same class and that they believe Draymond wouldn't even, that they believe he would even say the same thing. That Draymond would say the same thing, that they're not in the same class. If only that were the case. Definitely was not the case. So, and then from there, recently, Draymond, he kind of reignited a 7 or 8 year old conversation when he went on Shaq's podcast, right? The big podcast. And he said that the 2017 Warriors would have mopped the 2004 Pistons because 2004 Pistons only scored 7 points. Now, Rasheed Wallace replied, he clapped back, and he said that the Pistons will beat the snot out, we got kids watching, right? Out of the Warriors. And he said he loves Draymond. He said, that's his young dog. That's my young dog. He said, but Draymond was too little. He said, and Steph Curry wasn't a defender. So, of course, Draymond clapped back. And he said that in a tweet that the Warriors would have smacked the Pistons. He said, quote, y'all were scoring 72 points per game. That's not winning a half. And we putting you in every pick and roll. Let's see you move them feet. That one ring was great, though, big bro. We all appreciated it, end quote. Moving on. Amari Stoudemire, of all people, shout out to Amari. He got involved in the conversation. He actually replied to my post on Instagram. And he said that Sheed is right. Draymond Green is too short to guard him. He said, trust me. Now, if Amari Stoudemire is 6'10", right? Super strong, super athletic, can jump out the gym. If he's telling us to trust him when it comes to that matchup, somebody who had to guard him for many years when they were both in their primes at Phoenix and Portland, that's something to listen to. So from there, Rip Hamilton weighed in. It gets spicy a little bit, agreeing with Rasheed that the Warriors would lose. But he said the Warriors couldn't match up with them in a 7-game series because Ben and Rasheed could both switch everything. And he said he believes the Pistons would have won in 6 or 7 games. Then, finally today, Rip again took to Instagram and said that people need to put respect on the Pistons' name. Whew. So it's getting spicy, bro. It's getting spicy. I'm sure we've not heard the last from Draymond or Rasheed and or possibly other Pistons. So I'm just waiting for that podcast episode with all of them. I want the round table, 5-on-5. I want to see it. So I know I said a lot. I just want to get everybody up to speed with regard to what's been happening so we can really contextualize this. So what are your thoughts on everything that we have said thus far?
I love you, Draymond, but you tripping, bro. You tripping, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to
Rasheed
him.
Wallace in today's game would easily be a top 5 big in this game today. Just the simple
Yep.
fact that everything that he can do defensively and especially offensively. We talking about a man that can shoot with his left and right hand from the 3-point line. You
Right.
know, with range. So, and
Yep.
please don't even mention on the box. You can't do anything with Rasheed Wallace, Draymond. I get it.
Yeah.
You in this modern era, you're a defensive guy, right? More of an irritant than a defensive guy, if you ask me, but a defensive guy. I get it. But Rasheed gang is definitely something that's underrated, and it's overshadowed by the antics between him and the refs. I think a lot of people really need to go and watch some tape on
Yeah.
Wallace, especially in his Portland days when he was that all-star over there in Portland. You know, like I said, just in recent memory, well, not even recent, but with the Pistons, you know, I think that's what a lot of people, they still have that taste in their mouth. They don't know the Rasheed from Portland.
Yeah, skinny Sheed.
Yeah, she was an absolute monster.
Yep.
And Rasheed he's totally right. He's totally right. Listen, when you look at guys like Rasheed and Ben, you know, not to mention Ben plays 40 minutes per game in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They
plus.
switch on everything. They can check 1 to 5. They can move their feet very well.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you got to worry about a guy in Rip Hamilton who's running around the entire game. He's also averaging 40 minutes a game with all that running around.
Yep.
Man, come on, bro.
Man. Okay, so I echo a lot of what you just said. Especially the point about Rasheed. She just wasn't the only reason he's not renowned the way KG and Dirk and even C Webb, Tony McDyess, all those guys, Tim Duncan, the reason he's not renowned the way they are is because he's so unselfish of a basketball player. He has the talent that matches all of those guys. Every single one of them. Right? He could go toe to toe with KG easily. He actually had, in my opinion, more range than KG. KG couldn't step out to the 3-point line and shoot the 3, right? So from that point alone, go do your Googles on Rasheed Wallace, man. He really was that good. He literally was that good. As far as Draymond, come on, bro. Like, I respect you if you're gonna speak on the Pistons or any team, you gotta come correct with your facts, my brother. The Pistons held teams to 70 points. They didn't just score only 70 points. And many of those games were flat out, before I even get there. Yeah, many of those games during that double-digit streak of holding teams under 70 points were blowouts. So they were scoring 70 points, but we were scoring at 95, 90, 100, 85. We weren't scoring 70 points. So do your research, my brother. That's kind of bad because you were around them. You should know better. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. So just to clear that up, they weren't scoring 70 points a game like he was saying. They were holding teams with 70 points per game. That's the difference. You had teams not trying to win games, but trying desperately to avoid being the next victim and trying to score 70 points so they can snap the streak. The Nets finally snapped that streak. They scored 71 points. I remember that game. I watched it live. It was on ESPN. They were doing their best they could to celebrate. And the Pistons on the other side of the bench were encouraging whoever was in the game, right, to hold them under 70. I believe it was 13 straight games. The Nets broke the record. They scored 71 points at the buzzer, and they had their hands in the air like they just won the game. They got blew out. It just shows you the level of defense this team's played. And that same New Jersey Nets team met us in the conference finals that season. So it wasn't somebody who was a slouch that we were doing that to. We were doing that to everybody. Draymond. Just to get that out the way. So anyway, I just had to get that out there, bro. Go ahead. Go. I ain't going to cut you off, but go ahead. Go ahead and continue with your point.
Even, I feel, it's even the citizens of Sac Nasty, man. Saginaw is looking at Draymond like, bro, what are you talking about?
Come on, bro.
Like, what are you talking about? Then when you look at it, the styles of games, neither one of them mention which era you're playing in. If you're playing in this era, then you in even worse trouble, because now you got an era where, as a big, with it just to stick with Rasheed for a minute, as a big, now you're asked to shoot.
Right.
The difference between Biggs now and Rasheed Wallace actually was really good at shooting 3-point shots. He just didn't shoot a whole lot of them because of the game back then.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's a guy who will knock them down. He is really going to be a problem with you defending. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Draymond, you might make one now and then. You know what I'm saying? With that wonky jump shot of yours. But bro, you ain't on Rasheed's level. You know what I'm saying? So, like, man.
So let's do this. Let's take it matchup by matchup. Right? Because there's no way to quantify or to do it properly, accurately, because we can't simulate that. Right? It will never happen. But I would like to go matchup by matchup, player for player, and then also a few different aspects I want to go up and look at too after we get through the starting five. So let's start with the first matchup, right? Chauncey versus Steph.
Yeah.
So in chat, let us know who wins this matchup. What does it look like? Give us the dynamics. What are you guys looking for? Who wins? Why? All that stuff.
So, this matchup, obviously Chauncey is the bigger guard. Obviously, Chauncey is going to put his weight on Steph a lot. Steph is going to have to deal with post-up Chauncey a lot. Chauncey, like I said, in a newer era, would be allowed to shoot the three a little bit more, even though he's a leader in the floor general, would be allowed to, get his shot off a lot more.
Right.
Steph is Steph. Steph is going to run around. You're going to chuck up shots and, whatever it may have you. But this is a defensive Pistons team. Chauncey, Rip, those guys, the dogs coming off the bench, these guys ain't just going to let you run around freely and just chuck up shots. They're going to be in your face, whether you're making some or not. They're going to be on your ass. You know what I'm saying? That's... So, like I said, he's going to have to work a whole lot more. And then, like I said, when you look at minutes played for these two teams, the Pistons, these dudes don't get off the court. They're very, very, very well conditioned. These dudes, you're going to have a long game. You know what I'm saying? And in the series, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough because, like I said, man, it's just a size thing with Chauncey. Chauncey's a bigger guard, and especially going to the basket, it's, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be tough for Steph. It's definitely going to be tough for Steph. It's a tough battle on both ends, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think they will cross match maybe, possibly? Maybe putting Rip on Steph and putting Chauncey on Clay?
Now, Rip.
How do you think?
I would think Rip is better, a better option.
Okay.
Simply because of
I'm thinking defensively.
Yeah.
Rip being able to do on defense what he does on offense, run around screens. I'm just thinking because Steph likes to do that. I mean, they both do, but Steph does that a lot. So I'm just thinking if they may look to have a taller defender who's also fast enough to keep up with Steph. But you're probably right. They probably would go straight up.
Yeah, even if they didn't, you put Rip on him. Like I said, Rip is a guy that can run around with the best of them, obviously, on defense. He is a little bit more lengthy. Probably a better matchup because Klay Thompson, we talking about a guy that was averaging 15 points a game in that playoff series in 2017. You can put Chauncey there. Chauncey's a big enough guard to deal with Klay.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So that's what I was thinking possibly. But let's keep going straight up. Let's look at Rip versus Klay. What are you thinking there? This to me is in large part a wash. To me. But what do you think?
I have a tired Klay Thompson with no legs.
Okay.
That's what I have. By the time you get midway in that series, I have a tired Klay Thompson with no legs. That's a lot of running around for Klay.
It is.
It's Klay Thompson we talking about. So him being to me, the only of the two defensive guys that they have, he'll have a job. He'll definitely have a job. And like I said, Klay's gonna shoot a 3 or 2 here and there, but yeah, you got a lot of running around screens to do, buddy.
Yep. He would need to be in tip-top shape for sure. Because I remember when we beat the Lakers in the gentleman sweep in 2004. Game 5, it was like you said later in the series. Game 5, toward the end of the game, it was pretty much out of reach, but Kobe was still trying because that's just Kobe, right? Got to the free throw line, and he's huffing and like he's so tired. And I see Rip in the background, just pacing back and forth, just walking back and forth, like he's not slumped over. He's fine.
Right.
So to your point, you know what I mean. And we know Kobe was a very well conditioned basketball player, right? To your point, mid-series, that may start to affect his offense because now he may not have the legs that he had earlier in the series in games 1 through 3, 4. So good point, bro. Yeah, I might rock with that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's, we're talking about a guy that used to get up and run 5 miles in the morning like it was nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that Clay would be a tired man, very tired man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mark. Because, that's a lot. Like I said, you just look at the guys who had to deal with him back in that time, man.
Right.
Yeah. And like we talking about an era where you can really shoot the ball even more now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Not for you.
Yeah. Okay. That's tough, man. I don't know. Man. You know what? I'm with you on that. Okay. All right, let's move on. Next, we have Tayshaun versus KD. This is where it gets interesting for me, but I'm going to let you go first.
So KD, obviously 7-footer, hard to defend, right? You look at him, especially in that time, very, very tough to defend. Tayshaun Prince, 6'9", long arms, can scratch his ankles standing up. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Like I said, we've seen him against some of the premier guys. We've seen him on Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, you're not going to stop KD. You're not going to stop KD.
Right.
But you can ruffle him a little bit. If you take Tayshaun Prince, I mean, you long enough to do it. You can move your feet.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely going towards the basket, man. You're a threat to block his shots. So it's more of the length of game with these two, and KD's tough. And that's why I have the Golden State Warriors as top heavy in this matchup. They're top heavy, besides a couple of guys at the top. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, KD's definitely gonna get it. He's gonna get off. He's definitely gonna get off. It's how much is he getting off, and then the rest of the guys you got to make obsolete.
Right. I agree 100%. So I'll start by saying this: KD wins the matchup, right? Mm-hmm. But does he dominate it? No. And why? I look at who eliminated KD from the playoffs this year, and I'm talking about Anthony Edwards, even though he was the culprit. Jaden McDaniels, right? All series long, before the series started, actually, they were asking AE, you guys concerned about, KD? And he said, you guys concerned about Jaden McDaniels? Right? And they kind of laughed. But Jaden McDaniels, in large part, held KD in check. Now, I understand it's not the same KD from 2017, right? It's a different version. The same way it's a different LeBron from 2017. It's a different version. I understand it. But I am going to give Jaden McDaniels a lot of credit because even KD at his age still cooks pretty much everybody. Mm-hmm. So he was able to, in large part, make it very, very hard for him. And his game, to me, is a lot like Tayshaun's. Does a lot of the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Guards the best player, right? Very.
So you got some buzz going on, Deuce. I'm probably sure they can hear it because I see the comments. I'm going to give you a second to get it together. Bear with us in the comment section. He's going to come back, y'all. So basically to piggyback what he was saying, you're not going to stop KD. KD's the guy. KD's the matchup. He's the one. Say I thought my phone was going off, man. Listen, man. I mean, when you look at the Golden State team, I said they're top heavy. When you look at the Pistons team in the way that they were structured, this team goes into the bench. The bench matchup alone will be a problem, which is something that we're gonna get into after we go through this top starting five. But yeah, this right here is the matchup. This is the matchup. It's Tayshaun and it's KD. Obviously, we know why KD was running to Golden State because they was having a little bit of trouble. So he was the finishing piece. He was the guy. That took control and got the job done for him. So this is everything right here. Not only is Tayshaun gonna be guarding him, but you're gonna see guys like Ben and Rasheed switching on to him as well in this type of matchup. So if you can contain KD and Steph Curry, and then pretty much make everybody else obsolete offensively, Golden State has a real issue. That's where I'm the most confident, because I don't think the Pistons will have a problem holding those other guys to be obsolete. That's just what it is. So we're going to wait for Deuce to get back in here before we move into the next matchup, which is obviously the main topic and the reason why we're here talking about this, and that's between Rasheed and Draymond. We kind of both spoke about it a little bit, man, but this matchup can get real nasty for Draymond. So he's logging back in. He's messaging me now. Just give us a minute, man. I'm gonna go through the comment section and give a few shout outs. Shout out to you, my guy Marv, Daryl. I see you in the comment section. Man, I see you, Craig, Jackman, man. A lot of regulars in here. We got 85 right now. So this topic, man, is one of the two hot topics, man. The second topic of the night is going to be very, very interesting, because a lot of animosity and a lot of feelings and emotions come out with that topic. So make sure you guys stick around for that, man. K ain't pressed. I see you. I seen you in the last episode and the episode before that. You always swear we don't see you in the comments, but we see you. So, like I said, we just gonna wait for him to get back in here so we can finish this, man, because I want to take this thing to a next level, because it's been a lot of disrespectful talk on these little podcasts. Everybody want to have a little podcast now and got something to say about, our teams here in Detroit. And for Draymond to be the one to say it is crazy. For Draymond to be the one to say it is absolute crazy to me. I mean, you obviously grew up watching this team. You know everything it is to know about this team. Your playing style fits this team. And I get you trying to be a good teammate, but nah, this ain't it. This is not it, Draymond. Look like Deuce is coming back in now, so.
Yo, you got me?
Yeah, welcome back, my brother.
My bad. We had some crazy power surge over here, bro. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
But I'm back. Okay, what I miss?
We just finished up that. Now we move into the main course. Obviously, the two guys that brought this whole conversation about Rasheed versus Draymond. Yeah, we kind of spoke on it earlier. This is not a good matchup for Draymond. It's a bad day, buddy. It's just what it is.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Draymond's 6'6". She is 6'11" with shoes on, or shoes off, with socks on. Mm-hmm. His release is so high, there's no way to get to a shot. The only way is to try to bump him off his spot, but he knows he's going to get to his spot. So there's nothing you can do, and he knows how to pass out of it. He's got great vision. He's a great passer. So when the help comes, because Draymond's going to need it, they're going to kill you.
They're going to kill you.
It's not even that difficult for me. I think, with respect, Draymond did win the Defensive Player of the Year. So here and there, he may get a play here, deflection here and there. But throughout the course of the game, Sheed is going to dominate that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to dominate the matchup.
And then we all know the ultimate factor. He's going to frustrate Draymond.
Absolutely.
Draymond's going to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the thing is, Rasheed gets pissed at the refs. But when a player pisses off Rasheed, or Rasheed goes at that player, you know what I'm saying? It's the difference. That's the difference. Draymond goes at the player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And gets himself ejected. Rasheed is the refs.
Ask Medvedenko.
Right.
The Lakers.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Exhibit A.
Some of the shots he was hitting was crazy.
Off the glass, getting fouled, fading away. Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah, so that, yeah. And he'd be barking at him. We already know he'd be barking at him. So he would really just frustrate him, and he wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, he hit a few shots. He's going to yell all in Draymond's face.
Yeah, can't guard me.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. What Luka was saying to Gobert when he was standing down, that's what we would have got.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, let's put this to bed. This isn't even. Is this even worth debating? Is this even worth talking about?
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? Zaza's only hope will be trying to do the same thing he did to Kawhi Leonard. That's literally all he would be able to do. Other than that, he's getting destroyed in that matchup. Ben is averaging 20 rebounds in that series. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
He'll have some room to block some shots.
and he's honestly probably shooting at least 10 free throws a game because he's getting offensive rebounds and putbacks, and they're gonna be in a penalty. He's going to go to the free. He's probably gonna make about 5, and that's okay. But that's 5 extra points, and now they're in foul trouble as well. So because they just weren't big enough. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's a really easy one. That's a gimme. So
shout out to my man CeeLo. I ain't seen you in a while, brother. Appreciate you.
CeeLo, what's good?
For donating, man. Listen. First of all, Ben Wallace is going to out athlete and out strength you immediately.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a guy who went up with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Without double teams. Without double teams. What the hell is a Zaza? You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's just keep it simple. You know, let's not even make it that difficult. Yeah, that's that. Now here's the thing. Here's the interesting part, Deuce, because while you was gone, I was mentioning this, and I'm probably sure we on the same page because obviously the title is the title. Benches.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about
it. You know what I'm saying? Versus their bench. The players that we have on our bench could start on some teams, obviously, right? Because when they left here, they did. So,
so let's go through it, right? Let's go through the benches. I actually had a quick minute to look up the benches earlier. So let's start with the Dubs. Well, actually, let's go player by player, right? I kind of matched them up how I think they might work out, how I think they might kind of match up. So you got Iguodala, right? Mr. Life on the line, Andre Iguodala versus Corliss Williamson. Right? I'm just gonna throw them out there. We ain't gotta say I'm just gonna throw them out there. Next one, I have Sean Mitty Livingston versus Lindsey Hunter. Okay. Matt Barnes, Mike James. David West, Mehmet Okur. Kevon Looney, Darko Milicic. JaVale McGee, Elton Campbell. Who you got?
Obviously,
I think it's a lot closer than I originally thought about because I didn't realize they still had a lot of those guys still there.
Here's why it's not close. Here's the reason why it's
not close. Okay, thoughts?
The way that the Pistons rotate is the reason why it's not close. When Mike James and Lindsey Hunter came in, obviously it was to take on certain guards, but when they had bigger matchups, that's where you seen Rip Hamilton and those guys play, extended minutes. If you got to leave a guy and Rip Hamilton in, for a little while, and then possibly when you bring in Steph or Clay and put the junkyard in so Rip can sit down for a minute and catch a breather. It's a weird way that they were substituting these guys and have bigger guard matchups in the second unit. But then obviously you look at a matchup in Mehmet Okur, which is absolute.
That's what I was hoping you was going to make. Yep, go ahead.
That's an absolute problem for you right there. You're not going to be just the Mehmet and Corliss. Corliss obviously is going to outbody and outstrength him all game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's going to be a problem to stop those two on the defensive end for Golden State with that second unit is going to be a problem.
Yeah, bro. I'm so glad you said Mehmet. Because honestly, bro, when he was here, we didn't even really utilize him. He was more so not an afterthought, but he was a luxury because when we got Rasheed, a lot of those minutes that he had went to Rasheed. So in the series versus the Warriors, though, in 2017, you're going to need him. You're going to need all hands on deck. And in that kind of a series, I see him really stepping up. I see him really showing because he was an all-star. He left here and he was an all-star with Utah. So he was very talented. that would be who I would think would be the biggest X factor in the series because they would need his scoring and his rebounding for sure in that series.
And yeah,
I did not say Darvin Ham, Devin Ambitious. That's a good one. I didn't mention Darvin Ham. Throw him in there too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's just the strength on the defensive end for that second unit is wild. You know, so then if you want to just irritate everybody, throw Big Eldon in there if you want to.
Throw Eldon in there.
Just irritate the bigs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so funny how Larry Brown sprinkled everybody in there. He let everybody play.
Right.
He gave everybody a chance to play.
Their rotation was unique, man. It wasn't like an on-set rotation. Like I said, okay, Draymond, you want to talk? We're going to put Eldon's big ass on you for a minute. See how you
and what you going to do? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Go weigh him down real quick.
Yeah. And Eldon, to be honest with you, was probably a better matchup than Ben was. Mm-hmm. Not for a whole game, but for possessions.
Yep.
For possessions here and there. Ben is just a horse. He'll just go all day. But Eldon was more like his physique, his size. It wasn't a 60, 70 pound difference when Eldon was guarding Shaq. Shaq would try to bump him and Eldon wouldn't move.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And what helped him is that he actually played with Shaq. They both played for the Lakers before Eldon came over here. He played with Shaq. So he knew Shaq's game. So we were built to beat that team that season. We had we could pretty much not neutralize, but in large part negate a lot of what they did best. We had a great defender for Kobe and the great defenders for Shaq, and nobody else could step up and be that guy. It's a lot like Minnesota with Denver when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's Golden State to me is just man.
You just don't see it. You don't see it.
I don't see it, bro. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? We kind of argued about it in our last episode.
Yeah.
When we was going with the Arrow situation, we kind of brung that in a little bit in the debate that we was having. And, you just got to understand in this era, these guys would have different mindsets also offensively. Mm-hmm. But also the defensive intensity between the two eras is night and day. And these guys are built. They're built to play this type of defense. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason, Mr. Draymond, that teams were not able to score because they gave you a straight 48 minutes of hardcore defense, energy and defense. That's what they built on. One of the most underrated teams of all time. One of the greatest teams of all time. Literally teamwork. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get what Draymond was trying to get at, man. But nah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think sometimes he's very. We all know how Draymond is. I think sometimes he says things that he probably should text because when you are texting something, you have an opportunity to erase it. when you're talking, you can't. And a lot of times he just says stuff, and then later he comes back and says, "I should have did this and that." Mm-hmm. That I think he said something in the spur of the moment, getting excited about his team that he really couldn't back up because the evidence is just there to show that no, you can't guard Rasheed Wallace, bro. You just can't. You just can't. I'm sorry. So yeah, go ahead.
Now to mention a few more things, and these are the finer details of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with coaching. Coaching.
Okay.
Obviously, you got Golden State, and Steve Kerr it's more about playing free. You know what I'm saying? You shoot reckless shots with Golden State if you make them or not. That's just what it is. Larry Brown's the opposite. It's play the right way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's play the right way. It's fundamental basketball. We're gonna kick your ass the right way. That's what it was with the Pistons. Mm-hmm. So when you look at those two details, obviously it brings two different types of chemistries with these teams. You got a Golden State team that's just passing the ball around, trying to find an open man and just jack that shot. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're trying to get KD the ball, you're trying to get Steph the ball, but everybody pretty much has the green light, with this team. When it comes to the Pistons chemistry, we're strategically going to beat you. Chauncey's going to find the weak matchup, and he's going to exploit it over and over and over again.
Yep.
That's what you've seen in the playoffs with the Pistons. If Rasheed had the matchup, Rasheed's getting the ball. If Tayshaun had the matchup, Tayshaun's getting the ball. That's
if Ben has the matchup, if he's got a little switched on to him and he's in the paint, he's getting the ball.
Yes. They're going to strategically beat you. And that's from top to bottom. That's from the starters to the bench. The bench had assignments when they came in. The dog pounder, our backcourt, the pit had assignments when they got into the game. Yeah. Everyone had a job to do. And if you have a weak player over there, we're coming. We're coming for them. You know what I'm saying?
Talking about practice.
Yeah. So that's just what it is, man. Larry Brown is, he's going to strategically go after you.
Yeah.
A little bit more structure. It's a little bit more fundamental. Yeah. And you, like I said, playing the right way is the key for that Pistons team.
So Larry Brown, right? Larry Brown, in my opinion, is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Been in the 3 NBA finals, right? As a head coach in 2001, 2004, and 2005 with us back-to-back, and 2001 against Philly against the Lakers. And he won with us, obviously, going for. Should have been back-to-back, but whatever. Anyway, mentored by Dean Smith. Mentored Greg Popovich. Only head coach to win both an NCAA title and NBA championship. He won with Kansas in, I believe, 89? 88. 89? I think 88. 88. Only coach ever to do that. Steve Kerr, one of the greatest three-point shooters ever. He actually won a three-point contest in 1997. He beat Tim Legler. I watched it live, and I was going for him because Tim Legler had beaten Reggie Miller the previous year. Anyway. 5-time champion with the Bulls and Spurs as a player, and 4-time champion as an NBA coach. 9 titles, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot. And he coached the Warriors, obviously, to the all-time regular season record, 73 games in 2016, losing to my favorite player of all time, LeBron James, in 7 games. So I could not, now I got that out of the way, I could not agree more with what you said.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the matchups. I think they're going to play a very, very efficient game. One thing Larry Brown was big on that I think will work to their advantage, they were very, very big on taking care of the basketball. He was very, very big. He didn't want any more than 10 turnovers per game. That really isn't realistic, but he would shoot for it, and he would always highlight it whenever they were able to do it. He was always about playing efficient basketball, clean basketball, not turning the ball over. It's all about possessions with Larry Brown. On the flip side, Golden State is very, very turnover prone. Was very, very turnover prone, will always be very turnover prone. That's how they play the game. I think that will work to their disadvantage because the Pistons are going to slow the game down. So 1 turnover now equates to 2.
Yes.
Because possessions are coming less and less. That, I think, will be the biggest difference when it comes to the coaching. I think Larry Brown would exploit that in a 7-game series.
Yeah, 2004 Pistons were known for turning turnovers into points quickly.
Yep.
Quickly. So they would have definitely exploited that a lot.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I just, man, I don't know. When it comes to these two teams, when it comes to the methods of basketball, it's just night and day. You know what I'm saying? It's go out there and shoot crazy shots. We turn the ball over, we turn the ball over. And then, like I said, when you look at Larry Brown and the Pistons team, it's the total opposite. Take care of basketball. Exploit the weaknesses. Go out there, play smart, cerebral basketball, outpower and outstrength everybody. Outrun, use your energy, outrun everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I'll hustle everybody. Yeah.
You're gonna
will everybody.
You just put your weight on everybody, man. And that's what gave them that success. So like I said, it should have been back-to-back. We was a shot away, right? You know what I'm saying?
We were, yeah. And now you mentioned, now you gonna make me go against Larry Brown talking about that game 7, man, when he shouldn't have Tayshaun Prince on Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan scored 2 or 3 times in a row in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. But anyway, I'm gonna disregard that, and that didn't happen. So I'm just playing. No, but I still think that's a tough one. I still do think though, as much as we're talking about matchups, I think that will be the difference from the coaching aspect. I think it would just come down for me to shot making. Is Golden State able to hit enough shots given the physicality they're going to have to deal with?
Yeah.
and how much you're gonna have to defend on the defensive end. It's a lot, man. It's a lot of variables. I just think they would struggle. I think, like you said with Clay, their shots will come short. I see a lot of empty possessions. I see a lot of careless turnovers. For easy buckets. I see a lot of that. That's what I see.
The lanes won't be as open with that team as they are.
Good point.
Today. So that leaves one factor left when it comes to this matchup.
Okay.
And I still think we favor it.
Okay.
Home court advantage.
Man. That's tough. So, okay. So with home court, like we're going based off of those teams, right? The teams in those respective seasons. So I know for a fact, off top, the Pistons were 54-28 that season when they won the championship. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't remember what Golden State was that season. The previous season, they won 73. I think the following season, they were like 69, high 60s, 67, something like that. Maybe they were in the 60s. I just know they were in the 60s for sure. Okay. So they would have had home court advantage. Right. So I think in that game 7 we were talking about, they would have game 7. So that, to me, and if you think about it, it would give them an edge. But when you think about it a little bit deeper, maybe it doesn't. Here's why I say that. When you think about, I'll just put it like this. How much would it help the Warriors when you think about it from this standpoint, right? The only time we saw them in that situation, they lost, right? 2-1, once again, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, right? In game 7, that's the only time we saw them in the NBA Finals in the game 7, right? We never saw it be outside of that. So I'm not sure how much it would help them. I think it would, though, however, help Draymond. I think it will help Draymond because Draymond in that game, he dropped like something like 30 points and 15 assists. And he was 5 for 5 from 3. He didn't miss a 3. He was probably going to win the MVP of the finals if they won that game. So he was the only one that was just on for Golden State. So it would have helped him. But as a team, I don't know. And then on the flip side, we did see the Pistons play a game 7 on the road in the finals. We've seen them play a couple. But this regime, obviously, right, in 2004, we saw him play, or 2005, we saw him play the Spurs in the finals, right? So, and we lost. Now, granted, that was a different team, wasn't the same team as 04, wasn't as deep. I do believe the 2004 team would have won in 2005 had they had that same team. But the only data we have is 2005 on the road. So, and they lost that game. So you got Golden State, who lost at home on the road in the finals, and the Pistons, who lost on the road in game 7. So they both lost in their respective matchup if they would have played together. So it's kind of a wash. I don't even think home court would really benefit Golden State, nor do I think it would hurt the Pistons, because the Pistons didn't get blew out. They lost by 1 or 2 possessions in that game 7. So if anything, I think it might help Detroit even lock in, even more so being on the road, having that us against the world mentality, back against the wall mentality. I think that may have actually helped them being on the road. And I don't know if it will really help Golden State because it really didn't help them in game 7 in 2016.
Yeah, like when you look at the Pistons, man, they've played just as fine in hostile environments with no problem.
True.
No problem. So,
true.
I mean, I think the home court advantage I would say for both teams is not an issue at all. It's just going to come down to who.
You know what? You made a great point. I'm thinking about another. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. You said there are other times when they have showed their mettle in game 7s. They didn't do it in the in the finals, but they did it in the conference finals. Which was the conference semifinals against the New Jersey Nets in 2000. The same season before we played Indiana in the conference finals and got to LA, we played New Jersey. Right? Before them was Milwaukee, New Jersey, Indiana, LA, right? Conference semifinals. We went up 2 games. Lost the next 3 games. And that game 6 was a nail biter. But Rip Hamilton came up, he hit a big shot in the corner. It wasn't a 3, but he got Jason Kidd in the air, pump fake, and made the shot from the corner and sealed the game. That was big. If they lose that game, the series is over. There is no championship. And they had just lost to the Nets the previous year. So mentally, that was another hurdle they had to get over. They stepped up. So to your point, they did show in other game 7s outside of the finals that they can show up when they need to in the moment. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, when you look at the test between the two, obviously Golden State getting to where they are, but the Pistons rolled to get to those finals were not easy.
Yeah.
Were not easy, man. Some hostile environments for sure, man. Appreciate you, Sino, for the
appreciate you.
Man, always have, man. Yeah, so like I said, I don't think that would be a factor whatsoever. The Pistons obviously had the entire world against them.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to the LA Lakers, man, and prevailed and almost, I mean, they still embarrassed them, but almost totally embarrassed and almost swept the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. Question. This is kind of a side question. Which playoff road do you think was tougher for the Pistons, 04 or 05? We always talk about the teams being different and how the depth wasn't there in 05. They didn't have those same guys. But which road do you think was tougher? I know in 2004 it was Milwaukee, New Jersey, Indiana, LA, right? Mm-hmm. And then in 2005 it was Milwaukee again. Then it was, who was after Milwaukee? It was Indiana, and then Miami, and then San Antonio. Indiana, that was a depleted Indiana team that was missing Artest. Reggie Miller was about to retire. We actually retired Reggie Miller. That was his last game. Was game 6 against us in the playoffs. So what do you think? And then we have Miami. D-Wade with Shaq about to hit the downside of his prime, or hitting the downside of his prime, actually, at that point. And then the Spurs. There's no wrong the right or answer. I'm just curious as to what you think. Which road was tougher to get to the finals and to try to get that ring?
I would just say, based off of some of the historic moments with that team that you look at, obviously the block shot with Tayshaun, how big that series was.
Moments, gotcha.
Right, the Rasheed Wallace half court shot. Chauncey Billups, buzzer beaters or game winners. That series was just tough. What I'm saying? Those series were really
Indiana
tough.
Was tough, man.
We were literally like this, what I'm saying? We were shots away from losing in situations. So I have to go with that year.
Indiana. Last one, and then we'll move on. Conference. Do you think that conference finals was tougher in 04 than 05? And we had Indiana in 04 and we had Miami in 05. Miami actually went 6 games.
Yeah,
Indiana went 7. I'm saying Miami went 7.
Yeah.
Indiana went 6.
Yeah. We weren't the same team either.
True. Good point.
We weren't the same team either, man. So I'm gonna have to stick with 2004.
Okay. I was just curious. But yeah. Let's move on. So with home court advantage, I'm gonna say, if anything, it's a wash. If anything, it actually works in the Pistons' favor playing on the road against the Golden State, because we've seen the Golden State lose the finals in Game 7. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
So, do you have a definitive answer as to who you think would win and how many games?
2004 Pistons, 6 games.
6 games. Okay. I'm with you on the team. I'm going 7 games. I think what we just talked about with this home court advantage, I think that would work more so in our favor. And I'm telling you, it's just the fact that I've seen them lose. I know they didn't have KD, but all we have to go off of is what we saw. And I just don't know if they will be able to overcome that Pistons team in the Game 7, where possessions mean everything. And the Pistons going to maximize theirs. And that Golden State is very turnover prone, even with KD. So if they're knocking down shots, we may have an overtime thriller. Yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit. I'm gonna go with my team, obviously, for the reason we talked about. So I think it's a good debate, but the Draymond versus Rasheed portion of it is not a debate. I think we put that to bed. We can move on from that. No shade to anybody, but it is what it is. Yeah. Okay. So switching gears, I enjoyed that. By the way, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Let me get some water.
Yeah, because
I enjoyed that. Okay. Now, there's been another very electric topic. One that I'm actually happy about is taking place, to be honest with you. We may have difference of opinion. You may have to turn your hat around again. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But very hot topic. WNBA. Now, I'm watching how many viewers we got here. I'm hoping the number don't drop just because we're talking WNBA, because it's going to get very interesting. The Caitlin Clark. Now, King actually told me that he wanted to talk about this tonight. He hit me today like, bro, I got some stuff I want to say about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of seeing it everywhere I go. So you said, so I'm gonna give you the floor and let you explain and elaborate on what you told me earlier.
So more than that for me is more annoying to me. It's a super annoying topic, and it's the way that people are approaching it.
Okay.
Obviously, Caitlin Clark, right? Mm-hmm. College's Steph Curry, right? Came to the league. You know, now everything is peaches and cream. Everybody's flying on planes now and everything else, right? You know, yeah. she's the golden calf. That's what is being put out there like.
Okay.
But when we get into a competitive WNBA that's been competitive, obviously, for a long time, if anyone actually watched the WNBA, if you watch that Shock team, you know that's a competitive league. You're going to get touched up every once in a while.
Yep.
So now it's just everyone's against Caitlin. Like, we've never seen extra shove or a hard set screen or some trash talking. We've never seen these things before in the NBA, WNBA. So now, since it's with her, oh, you guys, you should be grateful for Caitlin. She's bringing viewership to the WNBA and everything else. And so what are you telling me? Are you telling me that these WNBA players who's laid the groundwork, who's put the work in to get to where they are before she even came, who's been trying to do everything they can to try to grow the league, and what are you telling me they're supposed to just get on one knee and just say, hey, let Caitlin do whatever she want to do. Let her beat us. Let her look great on TV in front of everyone. Is that what you're telling me? You know what I'm saying? It's so annoying because everyone takes that and they want to throw race into it. Listen.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they try to twist it and try to throw their own little racist views onto it, which is annoying. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not about race. It's not. This situation is strictly about, hey,
absolutely,
you're in the league now. You got to earn your way. You know what I'm saying? I think people forget what Tarazi said about her before she even played her first game. So that's you can't use race in that situation.
Absolutely not. And I'm so glad you said that. Go ahead. Yeah.
All of those players mean the same. You know what I'm saying? They listen, we ain't gonna let you come in here. It's not a cakewalk. You got to come get it. You got to come earn it. Just like we've seen in the NBA with a lot of the young players that's been #1 overall picks or generational talents. You got to come get it. Yeah. You're not gonna give it to you. So you got to come get it. So when she get touched up and a screen or extra bump, or because like she flops a lot. Let's just get that out.
Well, she's skinny, bro. Like she got to get in the weight room too. A lot of it is I'm watching like the bump she's taking. It's like that's it. That's all. But it looks real. A lot of it is flopping. Right? She's smart. She's using to her advantage. But a lot of it is she's just small, bro. She got to get in the weight room. You got to get stronger.
The Caitlin Clark fan base is one step from being a Me Too movement. I swear they are, bro. This cult is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And I just, like I said, when you see these personalities come on TV, obviously, me and you, we talked about the situation with Stephen A. the other day.
Right.
And you see these personalities come on TV and talk about it, and then they get trashed and slandered for even saying one wrong thing about Caitlin. That's a problem.
Gotcha.
It's y'all using this as an advantage and a reason to bring out the ugliness of the country. I don't like that at all. Whether you have certain views about certain people in the country or certain races or whatever it is, don't use this situation for that, because that ain't what this is. These players are not going to let her do what she want to do. They're going to get in her ass. That's all it is.
I will say this, playing devil's advocate, counterpoint. Just hear me out. You're right. She is the media darling. And you're right. The groundwork has been laid well before she got here. Going back to Cynthia Cooper days when they first started, which I'll get into later. I got a lot to say about that. Your point is valid when it comes to that. But I think a lot of the same things you just talked about, as far as them laying the groundwork and now Caitlin Clark coming into the league with a $28 million deal without stepping foot in the NBA, there is some jealousy there. Let's be real. I'm not saying Caitlin's right. I'm not saying all this. It's going way over the top for me with her. It's like, come on, man. Let her hoop. Let her play. But at the same time, you can see there is some jealousy there. Like, what she done? Why she getting all this bread? Because they don't. It's different in the WNBA. The contracts, they don't make nearly the money they make in the NBA. Nearly. So they can't just miss a check and they're okay. It's different. You know what I mean? It's not where it's like you got, the average player in the NBA making $5 million and you got, your stars making 300. $5 million you're still good. You know what I mean? It's different when it's that $5 million is 50,000. And now you got Caitlin Clark who's making astronomical money. You know what I mean? So that's why it means more for them. And I think that's why the jealousy aspect is there. But I think it's understandable because they're all trying to still just come up. They're still all trying to survive. It's not like they have it how it is in the NBA. So just as a counterpoint, I do want to acknowledge that too. There are some people out there who are jealous of the fact that she's coming in to this situation, whether it's right or wrong, whatever. I'm just saying it is there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
It makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. I won't say I'm not mad at it because I don't want to advocate jealousy, but I do understand how they may feel that she's entitled in a sense. That's more so the thing. The entitlement part for them is what they probably like. She's not even as good as me. Why? You know what I'm saying? They probably feel that way, and a lot of them probably are right.
No, they're definitely right.
Coming to the league,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel it. I understand it. I do understand that viewpoint for sure. But to be honest with you, I do want to say this. A big part of me don't even care. I'm just happy that eyes are back on it. I'm a huge WNBA fan, bro. I remember when the league first came into existence. Like, I'm excited because I can see the NBA is about to experience success like never before, bro. It has the momentum now that it's never had before. And now it has the support of the WNBA and the NBA now getting behind us. Never happened before. I can't remember a time in sports history when the WNBA was making national headlines every day, unless it was like the finals. And even then, it wasn't even like how it is now. You know what I mean? So regardless of who the face is, whether it's Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or Asia Wilson, whoever, I don't care, man. I don't even care because it's like I said, I used to be a huge Shock fan. I was a huge Shock fan, huge WNBA fan, but particularly Shock fan, obviously, right? Growing up. And I remember, bro, I will never forget this. There was a small window of time, it was a few months. And you probably remember this too, because we're the same age. When the Pistons and the Shock were champions at the same time.
Yeah.
They were champions at the same time, bro. The Shock this is the crazy thing, it's how it's all mirrored. The Shock beat the LA Sparks in 2003, right? Who was led by their big, Lisa Leslie. And obviously the Pistons beat the LA Lakers, who were led by their big, Shaq, in 2004. So the Shock won in 2003. And then we came and won in 2004. Before the 2004 WNBA champion was crowned, they were still the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, both of our teams were the best team in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was one of the proudest periods of time in my life, bro, to be a fan, to rep Detroit basketball. Because it's like, how often does that happen? Has that ever even happened before? WNBA and NBA, both your teams are the champion. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. So, like, it was complete domination of LA teams. And so it was a great, man, it was like over the time. So it was also our graduation year. So I've always called that experience the graduation gift from the Pistons to me. That's what I always call it. I was so proud of that Shock team, man, because they mirrored the Pistons. They mirrored them to a T, and it's so crazy. So, like, just watching them now, hoping they come back. I hope they come back because the way the WNBA is moving now, it's time. It's the perfect time for them to come back.
Yeah. And, I really, really hope they come back, man. I hope they come back because I want to support, just as much as anybody else. Hopefully they come back and, hey, we can get, Miss Niall Ivy to be the head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Man, right? Or, there's a couple other people, too, who are talking about being coach of that team. We gonna get to that. I did want to share something, too, bro, because I really got excited talking about the WNBA. I know we talked about it for a while, but I loved the WNBA, man, like watching, especially because our team was so good. And I just kind of want to go through. I know I said they mirrored each other, right? How the Pistons and the Shock mirrored each other. I kind of want to go through those starting fives because those teams really were similar. And y'all got to do your history in the Shock, man. They were a really good team. So point guards, right? Elaine Powell was her name. She was like Chauncey. She was a floor general, set the offense up, take care of the ball, great vision, clutch bucket getter, really good defender. Mm-hmm. Then you got shooting guard. Y'all probably remember this name, Deanna Nolan. Tweet, right? She played like Rip. Energizer Bunny. She's running all around. Mm-hmm. Super speedy, super fast, running off screens, getting buckets. And her thing, bro, I remember her thing, she loved to get out on the break and pull up from the top of the key for that midi. Every time, money. That was her thing. Right? Then you got Swin Cash. That's Tayshaun Prince, in a sense, with more offense. She did everything. Like Swin Cash, she could handle, she could pass, she could shoot, she could bucket getter at will, she could lock up on defense. She was a dog, right?
Right.
Then you got Cheryl Ford, then you got Ruth Riley. Let me go Ruth Riley first. You got Ruth Riley. She was like offensively. Like she was the tallest of the starting five, and she was a mid-range assassin. Her footwork was crazy, bro. I remember when we played the Sparks in 2003, she was cooking Lisa Leslie, bro. It was a few plays she had her looking silly. I didn't even know she had that kind of game. But she was a beast offensively. She actually won the finals MVP, too, of that finals. And then moving on, you got Cheryl Ford. She played like Ben Wallace with more offense. She was a beast on the boards. Great defensive player, tough presence. She was just a good player. Her shot making off the glass was top notch. I remember that. So that team was just so similar, man. It was so similar it was almost like they took notes in the Pistons and said, and Bill Laimbeer said, okay, give me these kind of players. Give me these guys. Give me these girls. I want these girls. Yeah, DSN. Yeah, Swin Cash. Yeah, she was gorgeous. I remember her for sure. Maya Moore too. We're gonna talk about Maya Moore too. Did you have any Shock thoughts you wanted to get into, or anything you want to elaborate on as far as with the Shock or anything like that?
I mean, not really. I mean, coach of choice would be interesting if they came back.
Yeah, for sure.
That would definitely be interesting. And not just head coach. I'm talking about just the staff in general.
Exactly.
That you can have that really make that team go. Mm-hmm. Do you see some old personalities come around and be involved some type of way? Obviously, you know, the connection with Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn to those teams. So, you know, that all will be interesting. The first step is just putting it to action and getting this team back to Detroit, where they should have never left in the first place.
Right. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we ready to support the squad if they
100%. Speaking of that, there's another name I want to throw into the hat.
Yeah,
Cheryl Ford. Now we mentioned Cheryl Ford earlier. Shout out to Cheryl Ford. She replied. This is my IG post. She replied to this a few days ago, and she said that she will be game to coach the Shock if they return. And I think that'd be a great fit, bro. Because like, what do we always talk about here? When we talk about the kind of coach we want to have for our team, right? What do we always say? We were talking about names before, you know, why we wanted this guy, why we wanted that guy. But what is it we always say we want them to have as far as Detroit? We always say that we want it to be somebody who's homegrown. We want somebody who's going to embody our team, somebody who played for the team, right? That's why we mentioned Chauncey and Darvin Ham. That's why we mentioned these guys. Mm-hmm. She played here. She knows the culture. Yep. You know what I mean? She played for Bill Laimbeer. It doesn't get any more homegrown than that. Yep. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping they return, bro. I would love to see them at LCA. Shout out to the Summer Weather. She's the one that wrote the article that I just put up on there for Channel 4 News. Shout out to her. But I definitely hope they come home, bro. Think about how downtown would be if they're back in the same building too. That would be dope to have them back in the same building. I would be at plenty of games. I'll be at plenty of games. Go ahead.
Look at the graphic. You know what I'm saying? It's, bro, we, first of all, obviously out of any city, we show up. You know what I'm saying?
We show up and show out.
When they were winning, we showed up. It was butts and seats. Listen, WNBA. We talking about Caitlin Clark bringing viewership. Listen. Bring Shock back to Detroit.
Right.
Guarantee you.
Oh, yeah. They sell out. They probably sell out.
Yeah.
Because we need something anyway. We would like, I'm telling you, Pistons fans would go to the shot games right now. Mm-hmm. Because we just want to see winning basketball. We just want to see winning basketball. Doesn't matter. So, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. It shouldn't have left in the first place.
It shouldn't.
They shouldn't have left in the first place, bro.
And then all of those great names you just mentioned that want to come back here and be a part of the coaching staff. And like I said, the candidacy period when it comes to that coaching staff for that team. That's why I mentioned Niall. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, she's a coach right now. And she coaches that style of play. Right. So it would be a perfect thing, right? You know, you hear coaching the Shock, your son playing for the Pistons. Man, let's make this a family thing. Let's make this a marriage. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be dope. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
That would be.
Man, it's gotta happen. They gotta push it.
Bro, I was so, to be honest with you, like, well, I'll just say this. I, for a long time, stopped actually watching the WNBA.
Yeah.
Because they moved my team. Yeah,
I was done.
Man, they moved my team, bro. Like, they literally just moved them away. So, like, I just lost, I lost interest. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy because there was no reason for it to happen, bro. We, at that point in time, we had 3 championships on our resume. Only one team at that point had more. The Comets. That's the only team that had more. They had 4. They had the first 4 ever. And then the Lakers got the next 2, or the Sparks got the next 2. But we had 3. Why are we moving? You know, it just didn't make any sense, man. So it's just like, and then with the Tulsa, like, even if I'm going to try to watch this team, let it be somewhere that makes sense where I can get excited. You know, Miami or Tennessee, somewhere. Tulsa? It was almost like it was like a slap to the face almost. Like, what happened? Who made the wrong person mad in Detroit? Of all, man.
From a business standpoint, it's just diabolical.
Man, yeah.
Detroit is a hotbed. You know what I'm saying? You look at some of the other franchises, right? You look at the Pistons when the Pistons are winning, the support that you get from the city. Yep. But you see what's happening now that the Lions are a winning team. You see what's happening. We breaking records here in the city. Our fan bases, we're ready to support our teams.
Preach.
You know what I'm saying? So why, from a business standpoint, it makes more sense than anything. If the WNBA is trying to progress and get more viewership and move forward, man, we got to get the Shock back.
Right.
You know, man, we got to get the Shock back. Obviously, everybody wants to see the Shock come back. You know, players and fans. You know, just fans, not just fans, you know, here in the city, but fans in the media as well. Obviously, I've heard it talked about a couple of times on TV.
Right.
So, like I said, it's something that needs to happen. They need to find some type of way to make it happen.
No, they do. They definitely do, bro. I mean, and I want to say this too. I'm not going to say anybody particularly, but I know there are a lot of people who don't view the WNBA the same way they view the NBA, and I understand it. But I know so many people who just won't watch the WNBA, and I can't really get with that. And I understand, you know, there's things, you know, such as like they're not as athletic. Okay, they can't do knees bay dunk. They can't do windmill dunk. Okay, they can't throw oops. Okay, they don't move as quick. Okay, they're not as strong. Okay, I get it. They use a smaller ball. All these different. All right, I get it. But for me, like, this is just me personally, bro. Like, it's still basketball. They play basketball the right way. They actually often have a higher IQ because they have to make up for the lack of physical gifts the way we have, you know, the way men have. So it's like they make that up for with intelligence and precision. They're smarter. It's like, think about like Steph Curry. And I'm only mentioning this because I've been getting a lot of tweets about this. Like, you know, you watching WNBA, why not? Why not? Think about like Steph Curry. Do we watch Steph Curry for his athleticism? No. He's the best shooter ever, right? I get it. But Sabrina Ionescu, right? She held her own in that shooting contest last year, right? Mm-hmm. And Caitlin Clark, like, she's supposedly a better shooter. She's becoming that type of trendsetter from that standpoint, like you mentioned, the Steph Curry of the WNBA. So I just don't get it. And think about this, too. One more thing. If anybody, because we always talk about athleticism, and I get it, but it's like, if anybody here is a fan of Nikola Jokic or Luka Doncic or Steph Curry, who are not above average athletes, NBA standards, who don't ease bay dunk, who don't move like Ja Morant, man, You know what I mean? How can you be a fan of? How can you like be a fan of Luka and Jokic, but not be a fan of Candace Parker, Maya Moore, Taurasi, Tamika Catchings? You know what I mean? Cynthia Cooper, Lauren Jackson, Sue Bird. The list goes on. Like I just don't get it. So like when I started watching, I remember watching like all those commercials when the hype train was coming with all these different players, and it was just like, man, this is dope. I just never understood why so many people just don't have that same interest in the WNBA game. Is it because of the athleticism? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what it is, and I'm trying to make this as transparent as possible because I think I would always get up for shot games. I would always get up for watching my team play because they be hooping, they be playing the right way.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of puzzled me why the drop off is the way it is when it comes to the WNBA. That's just me.
I don't get it, man, because any opportunity I can have to see some of them fine sisters, boy, that. I'm
talking about basketball, bro.
But there's fine sisters in that league. You hear me?
No, it is. It is. I ain't gonna front. It's beautiful. But I definitely hope that they come back. It's definitely time, bro. It's definitely time. I just want to. I know I put my piece out there about that, but I just really hope that this buzz continues.
Yeah.
Because that would just mean eventually we're going to get another team back here in Detroit. So however we get there, I don't even care whether it's Caitlin Clark or whoever it is. Keep riding that train. Milk this. Like, while you got the attention, roll with it. Keep it going. Mm-hmm. For all we know, they could already be doing this on purpose. All the dramatics. They could be doing what we're encouraging them to do. We just don't know they're doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
you know? So I hope it keeps up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, just play nice. You know, don't use this as a way to be a disgusting person. Play nice.
Right.
Like I said, you have your views, you have your opinions, fine. But, you know, like I said, whether it's Caitlin Clark or whether it's Angel Reese, the reason why you watch.
Right.
Watch.
Just watch. Right.
Be a fan.
Right.
You know, be a fan and leave it at that. Facts. All the other antics, man, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, bro. That's all I got, man. I don't think I have anything else on my chest I need to get off. Yeah. I feel like we covered the obvious topic of Rasheed already with Draymond and that ridiculous statement he made. So we can move off that, put that to bed, and hopefully he doesn't pick the show back up and go back on Twitter and dig himself a deeper hole. So we'll see. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's still here watching, man. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. King, anything else you want to close with, bro?
No, that's pretty much it, man. We touched on everything. Like I said, we'll keep scouring and looking for the hottest topics out there. You know, what's trending. You got something?
We are still waiting for a Trajan Langdon.
Yes.
In this press. We are keeping an eye on that for everybody. We have not forgot. We are definitely waiting and watching for that. And whoever the new GM might be. I'm very, very curious to see when we get some news. I still think we're on track for it to be this week. And we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, that's where we are, man. So with that said, man, to all the 125 of you in here, we just want to say thank you guys for stopping by and watching this content, man, and supporting us. You guys have been great. The show has been fun from week to week, man, and it's only going to get better. So with that said, it's been a great show. What you got?
I'm sorry. Last thing. NBA Finals reactions coming to y'all. We will be doing every single game. We won't watch the game until after it's over, and we're watching the highlights. It's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be going crazy trying to see it, but we will have that for y'all, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. It's been another episode of the King and Deuce Pod, man, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Be sure, everybody.